Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Oosh Brothers Podcast. This is a huge week, not only for recent goings on, but just in general. We are not far out from Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking down the barrel of 5 weeks from Christmas, less so, actually, if you think about it. And it's getting festive. I'm really looking forward to it. As always, it's your boy, BB Malloy, co-hosted as always by my younger brother, Louis. How's your week so far?
Oh, it's good, dude. A lot less busy than last week. We got much better internet now, so I'm able to play online games rather than be sad. Yeah, no, just chilling. Just chilling. A bit gassy recently. I don't know what it is, but been a lot of gas in the flat. But that's just how it goes. But yeah, how about yourself, dude?
It's
What's
a
been
pretty
happening
confined
this week?
space as well.
Yeah, it is.
Look, honestly, it's been a lot of work. We had to ring up and split an entire tree over the last 2 weeks. There's been a lot of cleaning. It's just been work and juggling all that kind of stuff. It's been a lot of organizing. It's been a lot of panic. We've got 2 birthdays in December. We've got a potential recording date in December with the Dead Zephyrs,
Oosh.
and there's Christmas. And then coming into the new year, we've got the Summer Hummer in February, and then we've got another birthday, 2 birthdays in March, the wife and one of the other kids. And then shortly after that, you and I are on our way to the good old UK. So there's a lot coming up, and there's a lot to be excited for. There's a lot to be looking forward to. So at the moment, just maintaining positive vibes, trying to keep stress free.
Yep.
Stress is the silent killer. So just maintaining at the moment, man. Just diamond hands.
Yeah, man, it's getting to that period of the year where I love Christmas. I love Christmas music. But I don't like how busy it can be. It just seems like there's always something that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm 100% there with you. I get a little bit crazy when it comes to Christmas decorations, and I normally go really over the top when it comes to presents. Normally, the wife and I are like well and truly finished with our present prep by this stage, and we're normally adding stuff to the pile, and it ends up being way too much for the people that we love, which is never a bad thing. But this time around, we just got back from Australia not long ago. Bills are piling up. We've been sent to credit collections a couple of times.
Oh, shit.
So it's starting to get a little bit hectic. Just over silly things that we've forgotten, like vet bills and whatever else.
Yeah.
But it's getting paid, and that's the main thing.
No,
So
that's good.
we're digging in the savings, and we're making sure it gets done.
That's the way. No, that's the way, yeah.
So
Get those bills paid.
cracking into it. Yeah, absolutely getting the bills paid. But cracking into it, man, that's the first and foremost, the biggest thing we got to talk about. The topic that's on everyone's lips.
You said cracking into it, and I think I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Tyson's
It's
cheeks.
Mike Tyson's cheeks.
Yeah.
It's Mike Tyson's cheeks.
Yeah.
So the first and foremost, I don't know, like, I never had a competitive boxing match, right? I boxed in my teens. I was okay at what I was doing. I never had, like, a match where I would turn up shorts the whole bit, right? I don't know if that's just standard practice for you to wear essentially a G-banger underneath your boxing shorts, but for is he 58-year-old man?
Yeah, 58.
58 years old. He was, not only did he say, "I love you" to the interviewer and give him a nice peck on the cheek, but as he turned around, Mike Tyson's saggy old man ass walked away from the camera, and the world stood still. And not because Netflix kept buffering, which was a huge problem.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, so.
Oh, dude.
I didn't,
Oh, you didn't watch it?
I feel like I didn't really need to, given the reviews I've seen, given the clips I've seen. I watched a YouTuber. He talked about how his kid wanted to watch his favorite YouTuber. First off, if his favorite YouTuber is Jake Paul, he should probably reassess some life choices.
Yeah, you're raising him wrong.
But yeah, he wanted to watch his favorite YouTuber box, Mike Tyson, but instead all he got was Mike Tyson's cheeks. So, swings and roundabouts.
So the thing is, swings and roundabouts. So apparently over in the States, when it panned to Mike Tyson's cheeks, that's when it froze. So it was just perfectly timed. So there was a lot of people that froze straight up on Mike's cheeks.
Damn.
I jumped on TikTok and did a watch along. And because a lot of people's Netflix were crashing, they were resorting to TikTok to see if they could find a stream. I ended up with like 150 people in my live asking questions. So I just ran them through a play-by-play.
Yeah.
Virtually the entire fight. The Amanda Serrano fight was crazy. She was absolutely robbed. Taylor headbutted her a bunch of times. She ended up with a massive split eye. Amanda Serrano should have won that fight, hands down. It was pretty brutal. There was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
That was the fight of the night for me, to be completely honest. Jake Paul coming into the ring in a modified, I think it was a Chevy. He had a pigeon in a cage sitting behind him with Logan Paul next to him. Logan kept spraying this sort of can of deodorant or whatever, and it was like a wrestling intro. It was like when JBL used to come into the ring in WWE. You know, he used to come in the big car with the hat. It used to take him ages to get to the ring because there was lots of flouncing around. Some similar sort of vibes there. Yeah. He came out to In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, and when the drums came in, both him and Logan didn't know when the cue was, so were late to do the air drums for In the Air Tonight, which was kind of embarrassing by itself, to be completely honest. Huge entourage, 6 people filming it the entire time, and then Mike came out by himself. No entourage, no trainers, no nothing. He walked to the ring by himself.
Yeah. Mike put it best. He said Jake Paul's a manufacturer killer, and Mike Tyson's he didn't refer to himself in the third person, but he said that he's a natural born killer. So I was like,
That's
sweet,
right, yeah.
he's gonna destroy him. But it was like a 20-minute. A 20-minute fucking waltz or a meander around the ring.
It was a school social. It was a school social where the boys are too afraid to ask to dance with the girls. He kept biting his glove, which is apparently a signature trick of his from back in the day. But for those avid boxing watchers who saw the Roy Jones Jr. fight from however long ago. This is not the same Mike that we've been used to that we were used to in the 80s, 90s. It's an old man. This is an old man. So, unfortunately for Jake, he was damned if he did and he was damned if he didn't, right? If he lost, he got beat up by an old man. His boxing career is over. Basically, there's nothing left for him to do but fade into obscurity when it comes to boxing. On the other hand, if he was going to go hard out and beat up Mike Tyson, he's beat up an old man. So, again, would lose credibility. The scriptedness of this boxing match cannot be understated. Jake Paul landed something in the realm of 180 punches to Mike Tyson's 70-something. It was very slow dancey. There was a couple of good jabs. Mike got in a couple of good punches, but the first 2 rounds belonged to Mike. Hands down, the first 2 rounds belonged to Mike. He was clinical. He was he was solid. He looked good on his feet. And he was making some really good body shots, some really good counter punches, and Jake couldn't hit him to begin with. After that first 2 rounds, Jake just saw the fight out. Kept running away from him. He got a little bit scared, so he'd clinch. Basically, so he just ran the clock down and beat him on points alone. I put a multi on. I thought Tyson was going to come out swinging. He talked a big game. I thought he was going to put every ounce of himself into one last fight.
Yeah.
But no, Mike turned up like everyone else on the welfare line that week and just took a paycheck and went home. And it was really embarrassing. Yeah. It was embarrassing for Jake. It was embarrassing for Tyson. It was embarrassing for everybody involved, to be honest. Like, if that was a pay-per-view and I had paid to watch that fight, I would be so salty in the respect that, like, yeah, the Amanda Serrano fight was incredible. I loved that. It was an incredible fight. The Ramirez fight was great as well. A couple of really good title fights there. They were great. But this being the main event was supposed to be like, one last Hail Mary for Mike Tyson. It was supposed to cement Jake Paul in the world of boxing, and it did neither of those things. It made Mike Tyson look like an old man who had turned up for a paycheck, and it made Jake Paul look like a loser, bro. Like, it made him look like a fucking idiot. And it was so hard to sit there and watch it, and then have people in my TikTok live being like, what's going on? What's going on? Because South African Netflix went down completely. So all of South Africa was trying to find a stream or a VPN, and a lot of them went to TikTok for some sort of closure.
Yeah.
But people were asking me, like, I'm standing there watching this happen, and I know that Jake's won. Like, if it went past round 4, Jake's won, because he's an old man, and he looked like his knees were buckling. He just didn't look like himself. It just wasn't the one, bro. It wasn't the one.
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, the part that shit me the most about the whole thing, right? So they're standing in the ring, and the judges gave it unanimous decision, Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Right? And they put his hand up, and Mike Tyson put his hand out to shake Jake Paul's hand, and instead of doing the right thing and shaking his opponent's hand, he did exactly what you'd expect Jake Paul to do and incorporated some sort of brand integration right away, sprayed the deodorant can, and then picked up his Celsius energy drink and showed it to the camera. And Mike Tyson standing there with his hand out looking like a fucking idiot because Jake didn't shake his hand. That gave me the screaming shits. Like, this man does not deserve anyone's respect. If the boxing world actually takes him in, they're idiots. Like, he has to be in a heavyweight class. That means he has to come up against actual boxers, right? Eventually he's going to have to fight someone like Usyk or, Tyson Fury or someone like that who is going to absolutely destroy him.
Well, I mean, when he fought Tommy Fury, he lost resoundingly because he came up against an actual boxer that was of age. Like, not in their prime, but like someone that was at least, close to Jake's age. Like, the only fighters he's fought that I can think of are like dudes that are in their like early 30s that barely have professional fights. It's like he can't claim to be a boxer when all he does is fight UFC fighters, other boxers that are in their early 30s that barely box, and fucking older boxers like Mike Tyson. Because the Tommy Fury fight was massive. Like, I remember Tommy Fury saying that Jake Paul isn't a boxer because he can't land a punch, he's just a YouTuber. And then Tommy Fury proved it by just smashing him in the ring, which was great to watch. But yeah, I just think Jake Paul's he's a bit of a wanker. Well, not even a bit. He is a wanker because it's like he thinks he's the bee's fucking knees because he beat Mike Tyson, but that doesn't carry as much weight as it did 30 years ago when Mike Tyson was laying out like Leon Spanks. It's like, you can't claim to.
Look, I reckon you put him in a ring with, like, Mike Tyson's old, right?
Yeah.
He's 58. And he's gone. He's a little bit punch drunk. He's a little bit slow. He's still Mike, but he's not as scary as he used to be by any means.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I reckon you put Jake Paul in a ring with current day Roy Jones Jr. And Roy Jones Jr. murders him. Like, it's Roy Jones Jr. was a bad man. Probably one of the best heavyweight boxers in history, right?
Yeah.
Let's see how old this dude is. 1969, same year as Mum. He's 55, right?
Yeah.
And Pensacola, Florida. And he fought in middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, cruiserweight, and heavyweight, right? Dude was a 3-time gold medalist, 2-time silver medalist, 1-time bronze medalist.
Yeah.
He's got US national championships, golden gloves. Where's his actual results here? Jones versus Hopkins, Jones versus Tony.
Don't give Jake any ideas because he might try and offer him a fight. given that he's 55. He's like, sweet, right in my age range. Let's fucking go.
Bro, I would actually pay to see it though. That's the thing that gets me the most is that 47 out of 66 wins total, 47 of those were by knockout, and they were resounding knockouts. Nine times out of 10, it was in the first or second round, and he just absolutely walloped anyone that could get it. When did he fight?
But he said it'll be rigged anyway because this fight was clearly rigged. You know, like if you watch Mike Tyson's training videos, you watch his interviews. He talked about how he went 8 rounds like a week prior to the fight, like every day. You know, his training videos were fucking mental. He's still hitting as hard as ever, and then he can barely throw a punch for like the last few rounds. It's clearly rigged because Jake Paul has to win because as much as he probably has some sort of talent in boxing, he's not a fucking natural boxer. You can't be rich and be a boxer. You know, like you have to earn it. You have to prove your worth. Mike Tyson was the same. Muhammad Ali was the same. Leon Spinks, George Frazier, R.I.P. George Frazier, George Foreman. Those guys, Travalo.
Joe Frazier.
Travalo, yeah. No, George Chuvalo, sorry.
Oh, George Chuvalo, yeah. That's a boxer.
He was the same.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they're like, they're all like old boxers from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but they came up through the ranks of boxing by making it their whole life. You know, like the only way they could get out of their situation was through boxing, whereas Jake Paul made shit vines, shit videos, scammed some people, has a shit brother, has a shit family, his dad's weird, and he's claiming to be a boxer. It's like, no, dude, you're not a boxer, you're a fucking shit entertainer. You're just there for the bag. I just wish people would stop paying them so much attention, because that's the only reason they can keep going. Like, Logan Paul apparently drinks 6 primes a day, which is just terrible for you.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's very good.
Well, there's a bit of beef between him and Ludwig, who, like, during the box filming with the Mr. Beast video, Ludwig picked up one of his prime bottles to see if it was actually prime, and it was water. So obviously Logan Paul had put water in his prime bottle, but it goes to show that he clearly doesn't drink as much prime as he says. It's like,
No, and look, I don't imagine that amount of artificial sweetener is good for you on a daily basis either. No. So that's kind of, that's neither here nor there. And I mean, Ludwig's Ludwig. He's going to find whatever dirt he possibly can. CoffeeZilla is obviously coming for him as well. He's just released a big expose video on KSI as well.
Get him.
Oh, dude, like I'm all for CoffeeZilla. Absolutely. And I will watch that dude's videos.
I bought one of his shirts because fuck Logan Paul. I helped.
Oh, to support the lawsuit. That's awesome.
Because Logan
Logan
Paul gets away with too much shit, and I really hope that this bites him in the ass and that he just fucks off. You know, like.
Oh, look, he's definitely got enough money, and all power to him. Like, dude's about to be a dad, and he's got a missus, and he's doing well for himself. Like, this is when you are under this much. Oh no, absolutely. If you can do all that stuff and still be a shit person. I don't wish any ill will on anybody, but it's one of those, like, you've got what you need, and you Prime alone is probably enough for him to retire on, let alone YouTube.
Yeah.
Let alone, boxing, wrestling, any of that stuff. Like, you just stick to one and stay out of, like, proper limelight. Jake Paul, for all of his flaws, has been focused on solely boxing.
Yeah, like, I commend him for that.
That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he's put in the yards, but I don't think anyone will ever see him as a boxer, because he's just not. He's picked it up as a hobby because he's rich. Like,
it's
Prince Nazim.
It's like not Mike Tyson, sorry.
Prince Nazim.
Prince Nazim?
Yeah, the guy from, like, the 90s who was rich and he was real showboaty in the ring, and he won a few fights, and then he gets like the shit kicked out of him after, like dropping into the ring on like some sort of, like it's like a swing or something. He dropped into the ring thinking he was the fucking man. Then he gets the shit kicked out of him. It's like rich people can't be boxers. You can't do it. You know, like if you're
Unless
born
you're
with a
Floyd
silver
Money
spoon in your
Mayweather.
mouth, or you make your fortune any other way, you can't be like a professional athlete of any description. Like footballers, for example, like the money is very much there nowadays, but like you have to put in fucking hours upon hours a day to even get close to where any Premier League or top level footballers are.
Are you sorry? Just going back to the Prince Nazim thing. Are you talking about Nazim Hamed?
I think his name was
Nickname Prince Nazim.
I think it's Prince Nazim. He's kind of short, skinny, had like leopard print shorts. I might be thinking. Yeah,
well, he's actually got a really impressive professional career.
Yeah, but
bantamweight, super bantamweight, and featherweight. He's got 37 total fights, 36 wins, and 31 of them are by knockout, and 1 loss.
Kind of short.
Yeah,
maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Maybe because this dude looks like he's has a source of inspiration. He was a source of inspiration for a number of world champions in boxing and MMA. Tyson Fury, Usyk, Conor McGregor, Israel Adesanya, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Jesus Christ, it's quite a list. Yeah, no, I think you might be thinking of someone else. He definitely lost to Marco Antonio Barrera for the IBO featherweight title, but then he won it the very next year off Manuel Calvo. This is featherweight and bantamweight stuff, though, so it's not really hugely publicized.
Oh shit! No, I apologize. I was thinking of Prince Nazim, but I genuinely thought that he was just a rich kid. No, that's my bad. I apologize. But like he was real showboaty in his fights. Like he would rock in like Lamborghinis, and then he would like drop into the ring. But I think for him, he just kind of his social life got the better of him, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's my bad. I honestly thought, I thought of, yeah. That's right, because he did lose to Barrera, and then, yeah.
It looks like he did do something stupid when he fought Barrera in Vegas.
Yeah,
And Barrera wasn't a fan.
Did he come down on like into the ring from like some sort of lift?
It looks like his body drained from losing 2 stone in 8 weeks, amateurishly tossing around like a marionette.
Yeah,
head flying one way, legs flopping the other.
Yeah, he would
he just
shit.
Apparently was. Oh, okay, yeah, he just looked like a bit of an idiot apparently during this fight, and he got the absolute shit kicked out of him by the sounds.
Yeah.
Barrera awarded victory by unanimous decision with the scorecards reading 115, 112, 115, 112, 116, 111, and won the lineal IBO featherweight titles.
Yeah.
310,000 pay-per-view buys on HBO, and this is back in. Jesus, when was this?
That's an Eddie Hearn special, I believe, from memory. I don't think it was Barry Hearn.
True.
Barry Hearn was promoting like
2001. That was 310,000 pay-per-view buys in 2001 is actually massive.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, I genuinely thought Prince Nazim was a bit of a rich kid, but no, he sounded like he had a pretty good career. But I was just because I watched a few of his fights where he was just sort of flailing about, acting real showboaty for the whole thing.
Yeah,
and it was like, ugh.
I mean, sometimes it's good.
I mean, Muhammad Ali did it for sure. Like he had the shuffle.
Yeah.
But then Muhammad Ali backed it up by just being the greatest of all time.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Like, and I mean, look, Prince Nazim's record is pretty good, but like it's, I had, I've heard of him I heard about him once in a song, and And that's kind of where I was trying to piece that together just now. But yeah, I heard him in a Bromhead's Jacket song, and that's like real old school Sheffield band from like back in the day, which no one else has probably heard of. But
Oh no, we all know about Bromhead's Jacket.
oh, good, great band. They actually got back together for a couple of shows in the UK. But actually, that'd be worth looking up, bro. If we can see a Bromhead's Jacket show while we're there, that would be actually wild. Like. Yeah, that'd be crazy business. Anyway, so in terms of like summing up the fight, it was clearly scripted. And look, I commend Mike Tyson. Get that bag, King, 100%, $20 million in your bank account.
Double his net worth.
You know, dude lives. Yeah, double his net worth. And then not only that, you know, like Jake and Logan Paul both live in Puerto Rico. Nice little tax haven down there. They're probably not paying fuck all when it comes to tax. And, you know, like, it's just... It was all for show. I was a little bit more salty than the average bear because I put $25 on Tyson, and I really wanted him to come through. I really wanted him to put a muzzle on Jake Paul and humble him a little bit. But it became very apparent in the third or fourth round that this was a paycheck, and it hurt to... You know, to have that hanging over my head that I was dumb enough to trust, you know, like any of the lead up, any of the hype.
Yeah.
After the slap, I thought, you know, okay, it's personal. Things are going to get heated, whatever.
Yeah,
all for show.
The slap
the whole bit.
For me was the turning point of like, okay, this is definitely rigged. Because Mike Tyson
the other way.
Mike Tyson would do that shit in the ring. Like, I mean, when he bit Evander Holyfield's ear. But I don't think, and I could be wrong here, I don't think he ever like did anything in the press conference before the fight. And then, do you see what Jake Paul did? He bought like a diamond studded ear cover because he was fighting Mike Tyson. It's like, could you be any more of a wanker? Like, just an actual piece of shit.
Could.
But yeah, so long story short, Jake Paul wins a scripted fight to get $20 million. Logan Paul is still an insufferable piece of shit. And Mike Tyson goes home $20 million richer, which is really the silver lining of this whole thing.
Yeah, I think so too, because, you know, Mike has gone through a bit of financial trouble and stuff, and, you know, a few run-ins with the tax man. So it's kind of nice for him to be able to have a little bit of something to, you know, finally retire on. You know, and he's pretty punch drunk as well. He said after the fight that it might not be his last, and I'm going to put my hand on my heart here and say, look,
I hope
Tyson,
it is.
I hope it is, mate. Like, just hang him up. It's not worth. It's not. Everyone knows the next one's going to be bad as well.
I mean, the next one might not be scripted.
You know, maybe. So. Oh, look, the only person that's going to be able to come out and beat Jake Paul, even if it's a reverse scripted fixture, right? The only person that you could put up against Jake Paul and have him not lose and still not be a professional boxer of a relative age would be Floyd Money Mayweather. He would have to fight Mayweather because Mayweather doesn't like losing. If the script was on the other foot, as it were, Mayweather puts money up to make sure Jake loses.
Well, I mean, Floyd Mayweather fought Logan Paul, and didn't that end in a tie?
No. Mayweather won to keep his 50-0 record.
Oh, that's right.
That apparently he just never paid. He just never paid Logan.
Oh, that's a damn shame. Anyway.
Yeah, he had to make his money stealing from everybody else via CryptoZoo.
CryptoZoo. There was the Polaroid thing that he did. There's Lunchly, which has been shown to have mold. There's various other crypto scams. You know, it sucks like that these people are as powerful and influential as they are. But that's just the world we live in, you know. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect,
but the thing is,
at least I'm not promising to fix a broken game and a scam, then going back on my word and then taking the person who called out my fallacies to court for defamation. You know?
You can't have people in positions of power in mainstream pop culture that are intelligent, right? That's kind of the summons of what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
You need people that are malleable. You need people that are going to be able to do as they're told when they're told to do it. They're going to have to be easily led in order for these types of things to happen. And there's going to have to be stupid amounts of money that you can throw at it. You know, if someone who's got a moral compass goes into the limelight, they're not going to be very successful for very long. And this is proven to be true. Unless they're an actor or they've got some other sort of vocation where, you know, there's a professional standard. Social media is still a very grey landscape, because this has only been happening for the last, you know, I want to say 10 to 15 years, where you've got these people that are doing, you know, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, making stupid amounts of money from ad revenue, and then they have to do dumb stuff like fight old men in order to, you know, maintain their relevancy. If Jake Paul had kept making YouTube videos, he would have just been clowned on by Cody Ko constantly, and that would have been it. He would have just been a funny little footnote on the internet. And that's so this was the pivot that was necessary. This is the pivot that's made him the money. But in the same way, no one respects him for what he's trying to do, because he's essentially just beating up old dudes. Yeah, and that's kind of what he's been led to believe is the right thing.
Yeah, he's trying to do a boxing career, but he's not trying to do it properly. He's trying to just essentially buy his way in, and it's like you can't just expect to buy your way into like the heavyweight scene of boxing and think you're going to come out on top. It's like, no, you got to. Obviously, he's training, but like you can't just like go in and start like you can't start playing football and then the next day play for Man United. You know, you have to work your way up. Yeah, but I'd imagine he'd probably need. Obviously, boxing takes a lot of work and stamina, so probably need some sort of protein. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you've got the hookups on the protein.
Yes, this portion of the episode is brought to you by the Man Shake. No, it's actually not. But the Man Shake are great. I've been working with them the last couple of weeks, and they're just fantastic. They're just such good people, and they've got really good products that I have been personally using and seeing some really good results from, which is great.
Yeah, actually, I probably should get onto that, actually. I'm just currently poor. So I'm just waiting for a brother to hook a brother up, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see if that happens. That and my free Dad's F's merch. You know. Just saying.
Moving right along. Pivoting away from the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, although that is probably the biggest piece of news we're going to see this week.
The biggest piece of news is
some other headlines I came across. Oh yeah, that's the headline.
Yeah.
But some other headlines that I saw, a Canadian band took their instruments deep into a mine to break the Guinness World Record for the deepest underground concert. Played a set at 8,086 feet and 11.31 inches below sea level inside the Kidd Mine in Timmins to break a record. Apparently, the miners spent 68 years taking out rock. And then the cringe headline is that they spent 1 day bringing it back in. Nice. Because the band is a rock band. Yeah, not great writing on their part. Yeah. There was some weird stuff this week though, so I'm just going to rattle off some headlines because some of these are really weird.
Speaking of Canada, recently I've been sort of tuning in and out, but the missus has been watching The Handmaid's Tale, which is filmed in Canada, and that shit is it's just insane. Like the shit that happens in that series is, I've never seen anything so wild. It is, and I've watched The Boys, but like that shit is like just so off-putting, creepy. You know, it puts America in a really bad light, which is good because they're not the best country in the world.
No.
But yeah, sorry, just random tangent. The Handmaid's Tale is just weird. Good show, great show, but just so insane. They do some weird shit.
Yeah.
They cut out people's tongues. There was a clip in the previous episode we just watched. One of the wives of the commander of a house gets like belted, and I was like, been there, kind of relating. As we both can. Yeah, just kind of, I was like reminiscing. I was like, I remember that pool table, garage door closing. What do you mean you took $2? Whoopsh. Don't talk to strangers. Whoopsh. I don't care if you fell off your bike and hurt yourself. Whoopsh.
Anyway, moving on from the trauma dump as well.
Yeah.
My favorite headline that I've seen so far this week. Insurers say that bear that damaged luxury cars was actually a person in a costume.
Good.
And it's as dumb as it sounds. Okay, so there is this hyper-realistic bear costume that someone splayed out on their floor. And just this like first 2 or 3 paragraphs is fantastic. So California has seen its share of bears breaking into cars, but bears caught on camera entering luxury cars tipped off insurers that something wasn't quite right. In what was dubbed Operation Bear Claw, the California Insurance Department said that 4 Los Angeles residents were arrested Wednesday accused of defrauding 3 insurance companies out of $142,000 by claiming a bear had caused damage to their vehicles. The group is accused of providing video footage from the San Bernardino Mountains in January of a bear moving inside a Rolls-Royce and 2 Mercedes to the insurance companies as part of their damage claims. The department said photos provided by the insurance department show that what appears to be scratches on the door and seats, right? So they've got all of this video evidence, but after executing a search warrant, the detectives found the bear costume in the suspect's home. So this dude is in a sting operation. Him and 3 other people have been dressing up as a bear in a bear costume with like these handmade like knife hand things.
Yeah.
Jumping into their luxury cars and then scratching the absolute shit out of them in order to squeeze some money out of the insurance companies. And sorry, double yawn there. But the fact that this is even possible in the year 2024 is fantastic. And look, I'll give it to them. The bear costume it does look pretty good. But to set up you set up your Ring camera at the front of your house and you park your nice little Rolls Royce right outside, and then you have to go inside in your right mind, jump in a bear costume, and then act like a bear, walking up to your car and scratch the ever-loving shit out of it in the seats and stuff. And now you're going to jail. That's it. You're off to jail because you dressed up as a bear and mashed up your own car.
I want to know. The thought process I can understand, like, get that bag, but did they train to do this? Did they like watch like YouTube videos on how to act like a bear? Did they have like late night gym sessions on like acting like a bear? Like did they put that kind of effort into selling it?
The best masterclass you could possibly get from how to act like an animal in a costume is watching anything that Andy Serkis is in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like any of the Planet of the Apes movies, bit of Lord of the Rings, if that's your fancy. Like it's maybe they even hired Andy Serkis. Who knows? The 4 people in question are unnamed at this point. So
unnamed peoples. So the public doesn't. What? The public can't know.
No, not at this point.
Damn.
You said speaking of bears?
So yeah, speaking of bears, have you heard about this bear called the Boss in Banff? It's in America somewhere.
No.
So there's a bear called the Boss, and basically it is probably the most badass bear. A lot of alliteration. Um, so firstly, it has fathered 70% of the cubs in his area, which is insane. It has eaten other bears, and my personal favorite, it survived getting hit by a train. Isn't that
Wow.
outstanding? Yeah.
That is
Not only
fantastic.
did it survive something unsurvivable to mere humans, it also just can't stop having children and also partakes in cannibalism of its own species, which is crazy. I was a bit shook
Uh,
actually watching it because there's a picture of the bear and he just looks so not he just looks so vicious, but like you can understand it. You know, he's got a sense of uh I don't know, common sense about him. Because obviously I'm assuming that like especially in the area bears are hunted to probably near extinction. So to father 70% of its populace, go off the Boss. I don't think that's its real name, but that's what it's been dubbed upon social media.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that excellent?
So it is great. I've got two throwback headlines from last week. One of them is that there are still, out of all of those monkeys that escaped from that compound in South Carolina, 8 of them remain out in the wild. The rhesus macaques that are being captured. They're still just all throughout the state at the moment, by the look of it.
Yeah.
But people are luring them back in with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and other treats.
Let them free. Let them be free. I say. I feel like
It's
humans have a superiority complex. Like this wasn't our Earth when we arrived, so you know, let the monkeys free. Like I'm not saying, that I don't eat meat or anything because I do and it's delicious, but don't lure in monkeys that have been tested on by humans. Like let them actually have some sort of existence outside of cages and dudes in white lab coats. I just think it's a bit shit. Let the ape monkeys
yeah,
survive,
no,
tell their tales, and make billions in the box office when they inevitably make it into a real life movie, like they already have with Planet of the Apes.
I'm in the same camp actually because I'm just reading the more about this here, and it's humans have been using monkeys for scientific research since the late 1800s, and scientists believe that the rhesus macaques and humans split from a common ancestor about 25 million years ago and shared 93% of the same DNA.
Yeah,
The monkeys posed no health risk to the public. Alpha Genesis, federal health officials, and police have all said the facility breeds the monkeys to sell to medical facilities and other researchers. That sounds problematic to me. I don't feel like they should be
yeah.
allowed to do that.
That's like they probably justify by saying, "Oh, well, we fucking grow wheat and all that shit, and then sell that onto people. So why can't we do it with monkeys?" So because they're fucking
Look,
monkeys.
but it's a sentient being. Like
Yeah,
this is the issue I have with animal testing. Like there's there's actually a list of products for any of you listeners out there who are looking to go against any animal testing that's going on. There is a list out there of businesses and companies that use animal testing. Maybelline is actually one of them, so just beware of that.
yeah. It's like that scene in Family
Yeah,
Guy where it's like, now it's time to test if this lipstick is bulletproof, and then they shoot the rabbit's head off. It's clearly
yeah,
not bulletproof.
exactly.
I mean, obviously that's probably an extreme example, but I'd say it's definitely in the realm of what they do in terms of animal testing. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, long story short, to summarize, TLDR, uh, humans just need to stop thinking they're above everything else in the world. in terms of animal testing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, like
No, I completely agree. This is something that we need to sort of take into account, is that the universe exists only unto itself, and everything's got its place.
Yeah.
I don't understand why us having dominion over things is supposed to be the right way to go about it. That doesn't feel right to me.
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stop like eating animal products, you know, but that's like survival of the fittest. You know, that's man, or that's humans capturing. Damn, that makes it sound worse. That's humans having animals and then like basically going through their life cycle. You know,
it's farming resources.
It's
exactly what it is.
But like when you like, and then you compare that to animal testing, where they just like they capture animals in their natural habitat, then take them to something that is so far beyond what they're used to in their life, and then just putting heaps of shit on them and in them. It's just not right.
Yeah. No, it's right, and you're 100% right there. Is that it's not right.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I get a little bit iffy. Like for me personally, I don't engage in any dairy products.
That's because you can't.
That's one thing. That is, and yeah, absolutely. It's because I physiologically cannot.
Yeah.
That's not to say I haven't in the past. That is the universe's way of saying that I shouldn't be engaging in any dairy products, so I just don't anymore.
Yeah.
And like, if I was to choose to leave behind, I can't eat lamb anymore either, which is probably for the best.
No more lamb shanks.
And I'm starting to move away from. Nah, man, it's done. And I'm starting to move away from red meat as well, so it's mostly just chicken and fish, which isn't completely boring. Chicken's chicken.
Is that so? What? No, is that vegetarian? No. Presbyterian? No, that's a church. Pescatarian.
So I know that
you only eat fish.
A pescatarian is just fish. Yeah, I don't know if there's a name for someone who just eats chicken and fish. A picky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
A
lactose
IBS
intolerant.
queen. Yeah, lactose intolerant and animal fat intolerant as well. I'll just go vegan. It's so much easier.
It is like vegan. Like it's obviously becoming a lot more popular, and there's definitely some good vegan choices out there. But the issue is eating healthy is far too expensive. It's
very expensive.
Like, for example, like we have tofu stir fry on the odd occasion because the missus makes a mean tofu stir fry.
Right.
Like a block of it is like $13, which is criminal behavior. But then you get like 600 grams of mince and it's like $8 or $9. So there's a little difference there, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. Food's expensive.
Food is expensive. I'm not denying that by any means. I kind of drew the short straw with the whole IBS thing. That's just something I'm having to adjust to. But it doesn't mean I can't live a long and full life, because it doesn't pose any other threats to your existence. It's just a bit of a fucking shit sandwich, really.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. What isn't unfortunate,
I'll eat the dairy products for you. I'll take that bullet.
Yeah, twice the milkshakes.
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So what isn't unfortunate though is, and this is another headline from yesterweek, that Moo Dang finally has an official song, and it's been released in 4 different languages.
What?
Yeah,
why?
They wrote an official song about Moo Dang. Yeah.
Why? I understand it.
There's been a couple.
It's a she, right?
Yeah.
She's an adorable product of nature. People are too obsessed with Moo Dang, I think. I can understand being super, like, just being infatuated with it. You don't need to make a fucking song about it. You know? Let Moo Dang just live its best life and have some sort of leaf on its nose as some sort of like emotional support. Let it bite its trainers. Don't make a fucking song. Ugh.
So
pissed
it's
off,
50
man.
seconds long. It's been released in 4 different languages. It is 50 seconds, yeah, so it's 50 seconds long, and the lyrics are moo ding, boing, 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 mummy, mummy, play with me.
Ooh.
And its music video
Ooh.
consists of short clips of the baby hippo bouncing, playing with her keeper, or hanging out with her mum, Jonah. Big up Jonah.
Big up Jonah.
Yeah,
But what a terrible song.
4 languages. Yeah, no, it doesn't sound great. It kind of sounds like someone slapped it together and chucked it on TikTok, and they've blown it out of proportion like they always do. Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like here. The other thing that I came across was Bonnyrigg in Scotland, a lowly Scottish football club which once had James Bond actor Sean Connery on its books as one of the owners, has been given a 6-point deduction for having a sloping field. Apparently, it slopes down into one corner, and this has been it's received a points deduction for breaching the league's rules regarding gradient of the field.
That's rough. I can understand the points. I can understand it. A points deduction seems a bit unfair given that it's something they probably can't control. Given it's a football pitch, that they probably don't have millions of dollars or billions of dollars to build like a state-of-the-art facility. A points deduction seems a bit off. A slap on the wrist is, I think, would have been the best bet here. Or they could find like a neutral ground for the time being while they try and fix it or something. I don't know, but a points deduction. It reminds me of when like with Man City going through all their FFP irregularities and all that stuff. It reminded me of a meme, and it was like, "Oh, Man City spending too much money. Give Everton a 10-point deduction." You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some of those memes were great. Yeah, I've seen enough. 8 points from Everton.
Yeah.
So I need to make a correction straight away. So Sean Connery, RIP, passed away in 2020 at the age of 90. What a fucking champion.
Yeah.
He wasn't a former owner. He was a former player and apparently played in their junior team in the 51 and 52 season as a right winger, and apparently he wasn't too bad.
Yes, I'm crushing it in.
Yes.
Do you reckon
get
it
on the end
exactly
of this
the
one?
same all through his like life? Because I reckon that'd be really
100%.
funny.
He came out of the womb and he was like, "Show me them titties."
Yeah. Yeah, she got in the box.
Yes. Get on the end of this one. Puts one past the goalkeeper. Pick that fucker out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ref, he's been doing it all day.
Yeah. Come on, ref.
Oh, that's so good.
He's diving. Yeah,
he's diving. Everybody's had quite enough. And the last one that I wanted to, the last story that we've got here that I wanted to have a bit of a chin waggatha with you about, a chin waggatha Christie, as it were, is former manager of the DoD Aerospace Threat Program has come out and given more evidence that UFOs are real.
Aliens.
So there was So they were talking about this in Congress about a year ago, and then they brought out something that essentially looked like an alien cake, and it all got... excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. It all got blown severely out of proportion, right?
Yeah.
This time around, they've gone into another meeting under oath, and they're sitting there talking very openly about how all of these things are very, very real. How they have flight logs of people that of soldiers in the Air Force, flight logs that have been stricken from the record because they have too sensitive information. They had one instance that they spoke of where they asked the guy who was in the boardroom, basically, has there been any contact with these things? He asked them to clarify what they meant by contact, and then he said, there hasn't been contact as such, but what there has been is like a show of power. Not a show of force, but a show of power. So they scrambled 2 jets to go and see what this thing was. This thing acknowledged that the jets were there
Yeah.
and kept speeding up to a point just to see how fast these jets could go. It kept speeding up and it kept speeding up. And then once the jets were at sort of capacity for how fast they could go, this thing basically dropped down a gear and took off. Like, and just was just unfuckwithable in terms of speed.
Yeah.
And it's going to get real weird, I reckon. Like there's what is his name? Is it the Drake equation? That essentially proves that there's extraterrestrial life. Is it the... Hold on, let me see if it's the Drake equation.
One of my biggest fears of alien life coming to this planet, for me, and this is such an odd fear. It's such an odd fear, but it will be the inundation of weird people wanting to have sex with said aliens. And
that is going to happen whether we like it or not. Yeah.
Exactly. People making like drawing up fantasies, writing fan fictions. I mean, not that that's like not that that is a new thing. Like obviously that's been around for many, many years, probably since the 60s, since like the Roswell incident or something, but if they do actually show up, like it's just going to get so much worse.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
I can already see like the meme pages promoting OnlyFans accounts saying, I had sex with an alien. Watch me, get a proper anal probe or whatever. Pay $100. Yeah. No. So that's one of my biggest fears.
Ooh,
also then,
no.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Oh my God, gross. Where? So that's one of my biggest fears. Probably the biggest one is them like destroying the planet because like a lot of stuff, I just want to sit down and play video games. So just leave a brother alone, Come on now.
Look, I am in a position here where for me, when they eventually get here is probably not the problem. I reckon they probably use some sort of like advanced technology. They've probably got a lot of cures for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Or they could be completely toxic to humans, and that's why they've never bothered to land or make proper contact. But what I reckon, out of everything else, is that it's probably going to have to be like, it's going to be a domination thing, right? They're going to have advanced technology. We don't have that level of technology. We have really stupid people leading very powerful countries, and these things are going to come down eventually and go, you know what? We're just going to take this. Yeah. And we're going to have to go, okay, everything you know about existence is wrong. All of that stuff. And it's either going to work out really well for us or it's going to work out really shit for us. And unfortunately, like a glass coffin, it remains to be seen. And it's a weird one, man. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic that they're going to be nice and that, there's a coexistence thing to happen there. But, I'm not holding my breath either.
But if they're more advanced than us, then they'll have probably a more advanced brain functionality than we do, given that we can only use a very limited amount of our brain. Some people can't use any of it.
No, that's fair, actually.
I can imagine, if they're advanced, they'll probably maybe be more likely to be friendly, given that they can understand a lot more than we can. Like, we think we're clever as fuck.
Yeah.
But with aliens out there, we got nothing on them. The whole like there's been like no verbal or physical communication, but there's been, like, as you said, a show of power. It's like, just don't mess with it, because it understands it understands the universe a lot more than we do. So don't fuck with it. Yes, study it, but don't go out of your way to try and invade it, as they like to do, because anything that isn't theirs is wrong and would like to be theirs or whatever. Yeah, just leave it alone. Just study it from afar. If it comes to Earth, it comes to Earth. Don't try and fight it unless it shows some sort of force. It's like that the Little Dicky music video, Pillow Talk or Pillow Talking, where where he's talking to that chick and her brother's in the Air Force or something, and he's like, "Would they just be able to fuck with us?" And he's like, like our weapons would be fucking useless against whatever they have, if they even have weapons. Maybe they're not confrontational.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't use violence as a means to, show their power. They just fly really fast.
I would like to believe that they've evolved past that.
Yeah.
That's where they kind of draw the line. It's like, senseless violence is unnecessary, and we've kind of we've managed to move past it.
It's like that Rick and Morty episode. Swifty, get Swifty.
Pizza Mung. Yeah. That one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Where the whole show me what you got, and then he fires nukes at them. It's like, if you if you try and fight something that's bigger than yourself, you might end up losing. Like you can't compare like David and Goliath to that kind of thing, because it's extraterrestrial. It's something that we don't understand how they work, how they operate, what they can do. Just leave them alone. Keep portraying them in pop culture and social media and all that sort of stuff, but just let them do their own thing. The more attention we give it, the worse it'll get. It's like social media influencers. The more attention they get, the worse it becomes. Like that IRL streamer on Kick, who's currently being held in South Korea because he's just been an absolute fucking nuisance and has his passport revoked and might be in jail there for 20 years because he just has committed a fair few crimes. Have you heard about that?
No.
Jamie, pull up Johnny Somali on big screen. There's this IRL streamer, Johnny Somali, who's been going around South Korea just being a fucking asshole to all these Koreans because it's a peaceful country and they're quite understanding. But he's just causing a ruckus. He went and sat on a chair. It was like it was a chair to signify like the sex trafficking and kidnapping and sexual assault of South Korean women by the Japanese, I believe, in like the Second World War or something. And he he desecrated it because he's a cunt. So he's currently being held in South Korea. They've taken his passport away. He could be in jail there for 20 years. It still remains to be seen what happens. So it's really nice. It's nice to see that happen to someone who thinks they're above everyone else. So I guess we just have to wait and see what happens there. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing something about it, because that's some bullshit.
Because he did the same thing in Japan. He went to Japan, was a nuisance, but because they're really forgiving and peaceful people, they didn't really do much. Then he went to South Korea, and now he's like, there's been other IRL streamers in South Korea that have been going and beating him up. Like, this one guy like came up and like just punched him, which I thought was awesome. And now he's going to jail. So it's like, there's no sympathy left for you, dude. Thanks, Jamie, for pulling up Johnny Somali, by the way.
Trash, man. Yeah, big up, Jamie.
Yeah.
All right, well, I believe we've come to the end of our episode for this week.
I actually did have one more one more random question, sorry.
Oh, you do?
Have you ever seen, and this is this is quite random, but it hit me today. Have you ever seen a sugar daddy and sugar baby in the wild before?
No.
So, we are pretty sure we saw something similar to that today. We're walking back to the homestead after having a lovely picnic by the waterfront. And as we were walking back to the homestead, we saw these two people in front of us, one older dude and then a younger lass, obviously, that were like walking pretty fast. There was no like there was interactions, but there wasn't any PDA or anything. And they went straight to the ATM. The guy took his bag off, went straight to the ATM, probably got some money out, and then they walked off somewhere else. So there's a couple of theories. It could be a sugar daddy and sugar baby situation. It could also be like a sex worker situation.
Yeah, it sounds like a sex worker situation.
Yeah, but I guess I was probably more invested than I need to be, but it was just because I've never seen it happen in front of my own eyes before. So I was super intrigued. But yeah, sorry, I just wanted to ask if you'd ever seen one and then go on that tangent. But
no, I haven't. And look, listeners, if you've made it this far into the episode, drop a comment or hit us up at the Oosh Bros Pod on Instagram. Let us know,
stories.
have you ever seen a sugar daddy / sugar baby situation in the wild?
Or if you are a sugar daddy
IRL,
or sugar baby, let us know your experiences.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for a sugar podcast, we'd be more than happy to facilitate, only because we are
content for you, free of charge.
Yes, absolutely. Not free of charge. They'd pay us. That's the whole point of the,
So we're the sugar babies, and we would have a sugar daddy for the podcast.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's called Patreon. So go into the link, go into the description and find Oosh Bros Pod, patreon.com/Oosh Bros Pod. Be our sugar daddies. It would be much appreciated, because this little munchkin wants to buy a PS5 Pro controller. Please and thank you.
Amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off the way I always do by wishing you a wonderful Oosh and a good rest of your week. And Louis?
Yeah, I'll catch you fellas up on the next one. Stay golden. Stay locked. Aliens are coming. But just keep that grind up. As this kid in the Miami Dolphins shirt said, don't focus on no ladies. Stay gaming, bro. You always got to stay gaming. And I fully 100% agree.
And we all pray to Mike Tyson's cheeks.
We all pray to Mike Tyson's cheeks. His cheeks literally got clapped.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.